Is pork forbidding from the believer's diet? Stay tuned, we'll talk about it. God bless you this morning. Thank you for joining me on Morning Nuggets. It's my absolute pleasure every time I come and speak with you. I pray that this video finds you well on this morning. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember, the Smart Show is just on hold. Give me about another couple weeks, y'all. We're winding things down. Things are looking good. One more thing, y'all, the music videos. I got a playlist now on my channel. So if you want to listen to all the music, go to my playlist and share that with somebody. You have your old school, you have your worship, you have your newer music. I have all types of music, quartet style, you name it. And that list continues to grow. Each week I like to put out a music video. So y'all go check that playlist out. And thank you for supporting the channel. You saw the title. Yes, can we eat pork? Can we eat swine? Is swine restricted from our diet? Well, we're going to get into it. Now, most of us say that pork is unclean. And I understand why we say that, because we go back to Leviticus 11:7. The scripture tells us that swine is unclean, right? So a lot of us base our decision on not to eat pork, not because it's greasy or not because maybe it's high in fat or whatever, but a lot of times we base that, and though that's a good reason not to eat pork, many of us do base our decisions on the fact that pork is fat and it causes health issues. But a lot of us say that we don't eat pork because it is unclean. Scripture forbids it. That's why. But let me just bring some clarification. Now, further on in that chapter, Leviticus 7, it tells us not to eat anything in the water with no fins and no scales and different things. Let's give you a laundry list like shellfish. So I must contend that if pork is unclean, then we don't need to eat shellfish. We don't need to eat seafood with no fins, because the same people that I hear that say pork is unclean, those are the same people that are eating shellfish and eating fish with no fins. So we got to make up our mind. I made a video before and I talked about it. We cannot cherry pick the law. If you're going to do one thing, you're going to have to do it all. But let me tell you here, Galatians 3:25 tells us that we're no longer under that schoolmaster. The schoolmaster is a law. Yes, since Jesus came, he abolished that. And that's what this scripture says in Galatians. So we can eat pork. It is not a sin for Christians to eat pork. And we got to realize, when God made this covenant, all these rules and regulations and the law, that was established with the nation of Israel. There are other nations out there, but this was between God and Israel. We're not Israelites, although some of us think we are with the Hebrew Israelite movement. I mean, we represent Israel, God's church. But if you look at the natural things, we are not Israelites, right? So we can eat pork. Now, the next question is pork good for you? No. I mean, anything, if you eat too much, is not good for you. But it contributes to a lot of our diet. We include pork in our diet. And I got a list here that I want to show you. Check this list out. We got bacon, we got ham hocks, we got pork chops, we got ham, what else? We got pork steak, we got chitlins. Oh my gosh. And all of these things, a lot of these things are high in grease content and they're high in fat. And many times these things contribute to the health issues that our community experience, like high blood pressure and high cholesterol and things of that nature. So it's not really good to eat pork on a consistent basis because of the health issues that it causes, but in moderation, once a week, once every 2 weeks, I figure you can have your pork chop or whatever, just as long as you do it and in moderation. Because if you look at this list here that I'm providing here, you will see that this contributes a lot to our meat source. Yes, we have chicken, of course, we have beef, but a lot of people saying it's not good to eat red meat right now. So if we cut beef out of our diet and then you cut pork out, you really don't have nothing but chicken and what, lamb, goat, and I don't know where you get those meats from, lamb and stuff, and lamb is very expensive. But it's not wrong to eat pork, right? That was under the old law. But now there are a lot of people who still practice that. If you don't want to eat pork, don't eat it. Now it's against some people's religion. Well, that's fine, but don't inflict that rule on somebody else who eats pork and make them feel like they less than, or make them feel like they're sinning because they eat pork. No, that's not the case. If it's against your religion not to eat pork, I respect that. I understand that. I eat pork every now and then. Don't eat it all the time, but I ain't gonna lie and say I don't eat pork. In fact, I'm getting ready to cook some greens for tomorrow, and guess what I'm putting in? I'm putting some smoked neck bones in my greens along with turkey, but I will be putting smoked neck bones in there as well. Now, pork it tastes good, but it's not always good for us. So I would encourage you that if you are eating pork, please eat in moderation. I mean, you don't want to eat ham one day on a Sunday, and then on a Monday you want to eat pork chop, and on a Tuesday you want to eat pig feet, and on a Wednesday you want to eat pork steak. Some people, they would eat pork throughout the week, and that's when it becomes an issue. A lot of the Jews still don't eat pork right now. It's against their dietary laws. If you put pork in front of them, they will go crazy. And a lot of Christian people I know don't eat pork. If that's you, that's fine. But pork is not wrong to eat. In fact, another scripture, Acts 10:15, is Peter had this dream, and he saw all these beasts and everything, and in the dream someone told him to wake up, kill and eat, and Peter's like, no, I'm not going to eat that. That's unclean. Well, a voice spoke to him, Jesus, saying, hey, don't call whatever I made unclean. If I made it pure, or if I made it clean, do not call it unclean. So in other words, that's confirmation right there that, Peter, we're no longer under the old law. You are free from that law. You can eat whatever you want. Don't call it unclean. Friends, I just want to bring this here to the forefront, because you got a lot of people saying pork is wrong. It is not wrong. However, a lot of pork is not good for you. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please leave it in the comment section. My email is in the description. I thank you for joining me again. In the meantime, in between time, don't eat too much pork, but be at peace and not in pieces. Till next time, my friend.